my channel. I'm Alexa. Today we're making rum cake. I measured out all my ingredients and I recommend that you do so too. You can find a full list of ingredients and measurements in the link in the description. Remember to watch the video first so you can be prepared.
I'm going to start by sifting my baking powder and flour. This is to make sure there are no clumps. If you don't have a sifter, you can use a wire whisk or a fork. When you're sifting, you can push the ingredients through using a rubber spatula or a spoon, or you can tap the sides of it with your hands. If your sifter has a stand, you should tap the sides of your sifter after it looks like all the ingredients have fallen through to make sure no ingredients are stuck. Today I'm not using a sifter with a stand, so I don't have to do this step. Now I'm going to add in my vanilla pudding mix and my sugar. I'm going to whisk this until my ingredients are all combined. Next, I'm going to put my whisked dry ingredients into the bowl of my stand mixer, along with my eggs, oil, water, and rum. Before I add my eggs into the mixing bowl, I'm going to scramble them quickly with a fork. This will let them combine better with my other ingredients. I'm going to scrape down my small bowl with my rubber spatula so I can get as much egg in as I can. I'm going to mix this until all my ingredients are combined. Some of my dry ingredients aren't mixing well, so I'm going to scrape down my bowl with a rubber spatula. I'm going to restart my mixer to mix in those ingredients. My batter looks great, so let's move on to the next step. Next, I'm going to prepare my bundt pan. I'm going to prep it using butter and flour. To do this, I'm going to first coat the pan in a layer of butter by rubbing the stick of butter on it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try to get it on as much of the pan as you can to prevent the cake from sticking. Don't forget to make sure the butter gets into the indentations of the pan. Next, I'm going to add some flour into the pan. I'm going to swirl my pan around so the flour coats the butter and sticks to the pan. I'm going to do this until the flour coats the entire pan. Next, I'm going to put the nuts into the pan. Try to make it so that they're in an even layer at the bottom of the pan. Now I'm going to pour my batter into the pan. When the batter is poured in, it'll automatically be even, so don't worry about trying to pour it around the pan. I'm using my rubber spatula to get the remaining batter out of the mixing bowl. Next, I'm going to put my cake into the oven. My oven's preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. While the cake is in the oven, I'm going to prepare my glaze. To do this, I'm going to melt my butter in a saucepan over medium heat. The softer and smaller my pieces are, the faster it'll melt. I'm stirring it with my rubber spatula as it melts so it doesn't burn. Now that my butter is melted, I'm going to add in my sugar and water and bring it to a boil. You will probably need to raise your temperature to high to get it to a boil. My stovetop is older and works slowly. Once it does boil, I'm going to lower my heat to medium so the sauce will just simmer for 3 to 4 minutes while stirring constantly. I'm going to take it off the heat and add in my rum. My cake took an hour to bake. When it's done, if you stick a knife or cake tester into it, it'll come out clean. It should also bounce back if you gently push your finger into it. After 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to free my cake from the pan. You shouldn't do this right after you take it out of the oven, because if you wait a few minutes, then the edges of the cake will have become firmed and will be less likely to fall apart. Try to not let it sit for more than 10 minutes because it'll start to stick to the pan as it cools. Also, we want the glaze to seep into the cake while it's hot. To do this, I'm going to use my rubber spatula to go around the perimeter of the cake. Go around a few times because I can feel with my spatula that the cake is still stuck to parts of the pan as I'm pushing into it. When you push your spatula down, make sure you stay against the edge of the pan and go under the cake as well. I'm doing the same thing in the center circle with my small rubber spatula. You can see I need to force my spatula in and the cake cracks a little, but that's okay. You will never see it because we'll be turning the cake upside down. Then I'm going to put a plate on top of the pan, and while holding the pan and the plate, I'm going to flip my cake over. It should at that point come out of the pan. If it doesn't, you can flip it back over and repeat the process until it works. You can see the cake looks great, but also that there are little pieces still left on the pan. That's totally normal, so don't worry. After my cake is flipped over, I'm going to poke holes in it using my cake tester. You can also use a toothpick or a fork. Then I'm going to pour about half the glaze over the top of the cake. The hole should help it to seep into it. I'm going to wait a few minutes for it to seep in entirely before pouring the rest into it. And my rum cake is done and looking delicious. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments and how the recipe went for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can see when new videos are added. Thank you and enjoy!